guys, welcome back to Project DIY. I'm Chelsea. We are now in episode 3 of the Church Pew Restoration and Revival. In case you missed our previous episodes, we went over how to properly use a chemical stripper, as well as surface preparation. So, all your hard work is paid off. We are now in the third and final part of our project, which is finishing. There is a lot involved, so the best way I know how to explain it is to just get to it. Here's the materials you're gonna need. First things first, make sure to wear your personal protective equipment. The chemicals that we're dealing with are highly toxic. Secondly, we're going to be applying the same concept that we did in the previous episodes, and we're going to be working in sections. That means we're going to start with the back here, and then we're going to move on to the front. Also, make sure to use your tack cloth to free your surface of any dust, and then we're going to be ready to stain. Okay guys, we're completely done with the dye stain part in our project. We let it dry for a complete 24 hours overnight, and now we're able to move on to the next step in our process, which is seal coating. Now, traditionally this is done with a shellac wash coat, but we need something a bit more durable because this is gonna get a lot of action. So we're gonna use a product made from ML Campbell. It's called Clear Var, and it's a 3-part conversion varnish. I'm gonna show you how to mix that up momentarily, but for first tip, what we need to know is whenever we're applying this, we need to do this light and thin. We're gonna be using 320 SCUFF afterwards, and we don't want to bleed through our stains. So let's get mixed up and let's get started. Hey guys, I don't know about you, but I am absolutely thrilled with how this project turned out. It looks absolutely beautiful. The sheen is glorious, and we let it cure for a complete 2 hours, so we're now ready to do our scuff coating. We're gonna go ahead and use 320, and we're gonna go very, very, very lightly on this. The probability of burning through is extremely high, and we absolutely don't want that happening. So, my personal preference is using a felt block and paper. I like to use it because I feel like I can feel the inconsistencies and nubs a lot better than as using like a big sponge or something like that. So if you put your hand over your project, you can actually feel all these inconsistencies and nubs. So the reason why we do flattening is that we want to go ahead and flatten all that down and then also smooth it at the same time. So although it's going to dull our project, oh no, but don't worry, we will definitely come back to our shine whenever we do our top coating. So let's get to scuffing. Now that we're done with seal coating, and now that we're done with scuffing, we're able to move on to grain filling. We do this for 2 different reasons. First is function. We're gonna go ahead and be able to fill in all of these pores, and it's gonna become a very smooth finish. But the second reason, and the reason we're really doing it on this project, is for decorative purposes. All of this beautiful open grain that almost resembles like an animal print is gonna be filled in with this black ebony, and it's just gonna look remarkable after we top coat. A great idea is to maybe have a station set up for doing this. Grain filling is kind of a messy process. I have an apron on for a reason. So I've gathered all of my supplies together, and it just makes it a lot easier whenever you're working around, especially a big project in this. So first things first, we're gonna go back in our previous episodes, how we did things in sections. We're gonna apply that same exact concept. So I already have my pre-made pour grain filler. And I actually put it in a larger cup just because it's easier to work with, and I have some large brushes. So whatever feels comfortable for you, that's what you should use. We have this, go ahead and mix it up. It almost has the consistency of pudding, and that's really what you're looking for, especially whenever you're mixing. You really want that kind of thick consistency to it. So we have this mixed up. I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna start on this back section. We're gonna go from here to here, split it right in half. No worries about doing it in sections. We're gonna end up scuffing this and buffing it out, and then we can smooth it all together and you won't ever see any of the lines and separations that you've done. So let's go ahead and get one of my big brushes out right now. I go ahead and pull off the hairs. It's a good idea because sometimes they get caught and then they get on your project and it's just not fun to pick them out. So we're gonna go ahead and just give it a generous application. Generously apply this in. You don't necessarily always have to go with the grain. I like to kind of swirl it around and really make sure that it really gets in there. We're just gonna give it this nice coating. Keep on going until we reach about a halfway point. Like I said, give it a good swirl, really get in that grain. Okay, and I think that's reached a good enough point right there. So now that we've reached this point, we're gonna go ahead and walk away. Don't leave it completely, but walk away for a little while and you're gonna come back and start to notice that this black is gonna start to have a film, almost like a milky film that's gonna come on top of it. And that's whenever you know that you need to get your scraper out and we're gonna start removing the grain filler. Okay guys, now you can absolutely see the difference whenever I first applied this grain filler. You see we have this now milky, almost looks dry application on here. We are now ready to go ahead and remove it. We're gonna use our scrapers here. Make sure to get something pretty flexible. We don't want anything aggressive. And we're gonna come in at a diagonal angle and we are just going to come down just like so. Now get your paper towel ready and we're just gonna remove it and repeat. So we come in at an angle and we're removing the bulk of it. Angle, remove the bulk of it. Now, purpose of this scraper is to get the bulk off. And don't worry, because whenever we're done doing this, we're gonna come back with burlap and we're gonna do a polishing motion and kind of scrub and kind of blend the rest of this grain filler in the pores. So we're just trying to get the bulk of it off right now, which we are almost there. Like I said, keep on trying to come in on that angle. That just really helps get it in the grain. And then whenever you come up to these corners, like I said, don't worry too much about it because we can really get in there with our burlap pads and then eliminate the rest of it. Okay, so now that we've come to this point, we're gonna go ahead and get our burlap pad, like so, however it's comfortable to hold it, and we're almost gonna do this polishing motion. Now you can see the difference already of the grain fill and the not grain fill. It's absolutely beautiful aspect that you can add to your projects. You can do any kind of colors, and it just is such a great added feature to any project. So we just are gonna do this swirling motion. See how I got the black? You know it's time to turn over. We use the other side here. Keep on doing that polishing motion, guys. Get your exercise in today doing this. Look how beautiful that black grain filler has filled in. Absolutely gorgeous. See if I can get a little bit more out of our pad. We'll get up in there. All right, and there you go. See the beautiful difference? This is gonna turn out remarkable. Just wait till that top coat goes on. It is gonna be just beautiful. Yay guys, grain filling filling is finally done and complete, and we let the Church Pew cure for at least a good 24 hours. So now we're ready to move on to another step in our process, which is scuffing. As you can see on the actual seat part of our bench, I began that process already. Kind of has that filmy look to it. Basically what we're going to try to do with our extra fine scuff pads, as you can notice, is there's some filmy areas over here as opposed to some clear areas over there. We're going to use this and we're going to try to basically make this uniform and consistent, so where it's all blended together very, very nicely. Once we get done with that, make sure to tack off, and then we're ready to move on to the final stage, which is top coating, and we're going to glorify all this beautiful hard work that we've put into our project. So we're going to go ahead and get this all scuffed and buffed and blended together, and then we're going to get right back in that paint booth. So let's get started. After 3 days of curing and drying, we have now finalized our Church Pew. If you guys can remember, we actually found this as an old garage, and it was dusty, it was in bad shape, it needed repairs, desperate need of restoration. So we got it back to the shop and we started with the beginning stages. If you can remember, I showed you how to properly use a chemical stripper to remove an existing finish. We moved right along into surface preparation on how to properly sand. Also did a pencil trick, maybe that was helpful for you as well. And then we moved right on to the finishing part, which was actually exciting. We got to add some color, used a proper dye stain and how to apply that. Right on with the seal coating and into grain filling if you had never done that before. It's a beautiful accent to any project that you want to do. And then with the top coating and our satin finish that you see before us now. So I know this was a really involved project and there was a lot of information. So if you have any questions, please feel free to drop me a line or comment. Continue to follow me on social media, and I cannot wait to see you guys for the next project.